The hidden power of silence on your brain. What if I told you that 2 hours of silence can trigger more brain cell growth than any supplement, drug, or mental exercise currently known to science? Your brain exists in a state of constant auditory assault. Traffic, conversations, notifications, music, television. Your auditory cortex never rests. What neuroscientists discovered recently shocked the research community. Silence isn't merely the absence of sound. It's a powerful biological stimulus that triggers specific regenerative processes in your brain. This isn't meditation mysticism nonsense. This is hard science. Researchers at Duke University, the University of Pavia in Italy, and MIT have documented something extraordinary. Prolonged silence causes your brain to generate new cells in the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory, learning, and emotion. 2 hours of daily silence triggers neurogenesis at rates that pharmaceutical researchers are desperately trying to replicate with drugs. Ancient contemplative traditions, desert monastics, Vipassana practitioners, Carthusian monks structured entire lifestyles around silence. They called it purification, enlightenment, or divine connection. Modern neuroscience reveals they were performing sophisticated neurobiological interventions. Your brain is drowning in noise. The constant acoustic input isn't just distracting, it's preventing critical neural maintenance, repair, and growth processes that only activate in sustained silence. I'm about to expose 10 silence-based protocols that exploit your brain's acoustic-dependent mechanisms. Each technique leverages silence's unique neurological effects to enhance specific cognitive functions. Master these, and you're not just reducing noise, you're accessing biological upgrade systems most people never activate. Your brain is starving for silence. Time to feed it. Part 1. The neurogenesis activation window. You think brain cells stop growing after childhood. For decades, scientists believe this too. Both assumptions are completely wrong. Duke University researchers discovered that 2 hours of daily silence triggers measurable hippocampal neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells. No other condition tested. Enriched environments, exercise, cognitive training produce comparable cell generation. This is technique number 1 out of 10, the neurogenesis activation window. Schedule to uninterrupted hours of complete silence 3 times weekly. No music, podcasts, audiobooks, or conversations. Turn off all devices. Sit, walk, or engage in silent activities like reading or gentle movement. Use noise-canceling headphones if necessary. Maintain this practice for 90 consecutive days while avoiding loud environments on practice days. Silence allows your brain to divert resources from constant auditory processing to cellular repair and generation. Your hippocampus interprets prolonged silence as a signal to grow new neurons, an evolutionary mechanism likely related to recovery periods. You're creating the precise conditions that trigger brain cell growth. Animals in silent environments show 50% more hippocampal cell growth than those in noisy environments. Silence is a growth signal. Start implementing to our silence windows and watch memory formation and emotional regulation improve through literal brain cell generation. Part 2. The default mode reset protocol. Your brain has an idle state called the default mode network active. When you're not focused on external tasks, in constant noise, this network never fully engages. Neuroscientists at the University of Pavia discovered that silence uniquely activates and regulates the default mode network, allowing it to complete essential consolidation and integration processes. Noise keeps this network in a perpetual half-activated, inefficient state. This is technique number 2 out of 10, the default mode reset protocol. Every evening, create a 45-minute silent transition window before bed. No television, music, or conversations. Dim lighting. Engage in simple, quiet activities, washing dishes mindfully, folding clothes, gentle stretching, or sitting still. Make this an absolute daily ritual for 60 consecutive nights. The default mode network requires sustained silence to shift into its deepest processing states, integrating the day's experiences, consolidating memories, and organizing neural patterns. Evening silence before sleep optimizes these overnight consolidation processes. You're giving your brain permission to complete its essential maintenance routines. People who maintain evening silence show significantly better memory consolidation and reduced anxiety compared to those who fill evenings with media. Start creating silent evening transitions and watch sleep quality improve while daytime mental clarity sharpens through enhanced overnight processing. Part 3. The auditory cortex liberation. Your auditory cortex processes sound continuously, even background noise you've consciously tuned out. This constant processing drains cognitive resources you don't realize you're spending. MIT researchers documented that even low-level background noise, 40 decibels, equivalent to a quiet library, activates auditory processing networks that compete with attention and working memory systems. Your brain never fully disengages from sound processing. This is technique number 3 out of 10, the auditory cortex liberation. Designate one full day monthly as a complete silence day. From waking to sleeping, eliminate all optional sound, no music, media, conversations, or notifications. Use earplugs if environmental noise is unavoidable. Communicate via written notes if absolutely necessary. Plan activities that require no sound: reading, writing, hiking, art. Continue monthly for one full year. Extended silence allows your auditory cortex to enter a resting state it rarely experiences in modern life. This rest enables neural repair and recalibration of acoustic sensitivity. You're essentially giving an overworked brain system a vacation, allowing recovery and optimization. Participants in silence retreats report that sounds become more vivid and detailed. Afterward, the auditory system recalibrates when freed from constant stimulation. Start implementing monthly silence days and watch your auditory processing sharpen while cognitive resources redirect from constant sound analysis. Part 4. The stress hormone suppression method. Noise isn't just annoying, it triggers measurable stress responses. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline in response to acoustic stimulation, even sounds you've consciously habituated to. Research published in Environmental Health Perspectives proves that chronic noise exposure elevates baseline cortisol, leading to cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and accelerated aging. Silence is the only known condition that consistently lowers stress hormones below baseline. This is technique number 4 out of 10, the stress hormone suppression method. Upon waking, before any sound input, no music, news, or conversation, spend 20 minutes in complete silence. Sit upright, practice gentle breathing, or perform simple stretches. No devices, no speaking. Make this your non-negotiable morning routine for 75 consecutive days. Morning silence prevents the cortisol spike that occurs when you immediately engage with stimulating sound. You're allowing your stress hormone levels to normalize naturally. Before introducing acoustic stimulation, the morning hours set your stress baseline for the entire day. Studies show that people who start mornings with silence demonstrate 30% lower cortisol levels throughout the day compared to those who start with media. Start claiming silent mornings and watch stress resilience increase as your daily cortisol baseline drops through acoustic rest. Part 5. The attention restoration theory. Our attention is finite. Constant sound, especially human speech and music, depletes directed attention faster than any other environmental factor. Environmental psychologist Rachel Kaplan's research demonstrates that natural silence, or natural sounds like wind and water, uniquely restores depleted attention capacity. Urban noise does the opposite. It accelerates attention fatigue. This is technique number 5 out of 10, the attention restoration theory. Once weekly, spend 3 continuous hours in a naturally quiet environment: forests, deserts, early morning parks, or remote natural areas. No devices, no companions, no artificial sound. Simply exist in the environment. Walk slowly, sit, observe. Practice this weekly for 40 consecutive weeks. Natural silence allows your brain's executive attention networks to rest, while involuntary attention activated by natural stimuli remains engaged. This combination uniquely restores attention capacity. You're giving your prefrontal cortex a break while keeping your sensory systems active through natural input. Office workers who spend time in silent natural environments show improved focus and reduced errors for 3 days following the exposure. Start seeking natural silence weekly and watch your attention span expand as your executive networks recover from constant urban acoustic demands. Part 6. The interoceptive awareness. Amplification. External sound drowns out internal signals. Your heartbeat, breathing, digestive sounds, and subtle body sensations. This disconnects you from interoceptive awareness. Neuroscientist A.D. Craig's research shows that interoceptive awareness, conscious perception of internal body states, depends on the insula, which is suppressed during constant external auditory processing. Silence allows the insula to shift focus inward. This is technique number 6 out of 10, the interoceptive awareness amplification, daily. Practice 15 minutes of silent body scanning. Sit comfortably in complete silence. Systematically move attention through your body, feet, legs, torso, arms, neck, head. Notice subtle sensations, temperature, pressure, tingling, pulsing. Don't judge or change anything, simply observe. Continue for 50 consecutive days. Silence removes external acoustic competition for your attention, allowing you to perceive subtle internal signals. Enhanced interoceptive awareness improves emotional regulation, decision-making, and stress detection. You're training your brain to read your body's signals communication. That constant noise drowns out people with strong interoceptive awareness show better emotional regulation and are less susceptible to anxiety disorders. They recognize stress early. Start practicing silent body scanning and watch emotional intelligence improve as you reconnect with internal physiological signals. Part 7. The creative incubation chamber. Most creative insights emerge during downtime, not during active problem solving. But constant sound prevents the mental wandering that precedes creative breakthroughs. Cognitive neuroscientist Kalina Christoph's research reveals that creative insight requires specific brain states, particularly activation of the default mode network combined with reduced executive control. Silence uniquely enables this configuration. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the creative incubation chamber. When facing creative challenges, implement 60-minute silent contemplation periods. No music, no stimulation, just silence and the problem. Don't actively solve it. Simply hold the question in awareness while allowing your mind to wander. Practice this approach for every significant creative challenge over 6 months. Silence permits the associative, wandering mental states where disparate concepts combine into novel insights. Background sound keeps your brain in a more linear, focus mode that prevents the broad associative networks needed for creativity. You're creating conditions for your subconscious to work. Famous creators Einstein, Darwin, Tesla all practice extended silent contemplation as essential to their creative process. Start using silence as creative incubation and watch breakthrough insights emerge from the mental wandering that only silence permits. Part 8. The acoustic tolerance recalibration. More humans have pathologically high tolerance for noise. You don't realize how much acoustic stimulation you've normalized until you experience extended silence. Auditory researchers document that chronic noise exposure raises your threshold for what registers as loud or disturbing. Your acoustic sensitivity dulls, requiring ever-increasing volume to register as stimulating exactly. By drug tolerance. This is technique number 8 out of 10. The acoustic tolerance recalibration progressively reduce the volume of all sound inputs over 30 days. Week 1, reduce music, media, and conversation volume by 25%. Week 2, reduce another 25%. Week 3, another 25%. Week 4, maintain at 25% of your original volume. After 30 days of reduced volume, maintain lower levels permanently. Lowering acoustic input recalibrates your auditory sensitivity, making subtle sounds more noticeable and meaningful. You're reversing the tolerance buildup that requires constant acoustic escalation. Sounds become richer and more detailed as your brain relearns to process quieter inputs. Musicians who practice in quiet environments develop more nuanced hearing than those who practice loudless. Sensitivity requires restraint. Start reducing your acoustic volume progressively and watch sounds become more vivid as your auditory system recalibrates to subtlety. Part 9. The social silence integration. Silence with others creates entirely different brain states than solitary silence. Shared silence builds social bonds through synchronized neural activity. Research on group meditation shows that brains of people sitting silently together show coherent neural oscillations. Their brain waves literally synchronize. This never occurs during conversation or in noisy environments. This is technique number 9 out of 10, the social silence integration. Establish regular silent time with household members or close friends. Start with 10-minute silent meals together, no conversation, devices, or media. Gradually extend to 30-minute shared silence sessions. Practice this at least 3 times weekly with the same people for 12 consecutive weeks. Shared silence creates interpersonal neural synchrony that builds connection without words. You're communicating through presence rather than language. activating brain networks associated with bonding and empathy. This deepens relationships in ways conversation cannot. Couples who practice regular silent time together report feeling more connected than those who only connect through conversation. Presence transcends words. Start integrating social silence and watch relationships deepen through synchronized presence that constant communication prevents. Part 10. The silence contrast amplification. Her is something that will blow your mind. Strategic silence makes subsequent sounds more impactful, meaningful, and neurologically salient. Silence creates the contrast that makes sound matter. Neuroscience reveals that auditory impact depends on contrast. The difference between silence and sound. Constant sound creates no contrast, making nothing acoustically significant. Your brain stops registering sound as meaningful. This is technique number 10 out of 10, the silence contrast amplification. Before any important auditory experience, music you love, meaningful conversations, nature sounds, immerse yourself in 30 minutes of complete silence. No gradual transition, absolute silence followed by sudden sound. Use this protocol whenever you want to maximize auditory impact and presence. Silence primes your auditory cortex to process subsequent sounds as highly salient events. The neural contrast amplifies processing intensity and emotional resonance. You're using silence to make sound matter again. Everything becomes more vivid through strategic acoustic contrast. The silence before a symphony's first note isn't empty time, it's essential priming that makes the music neurologically profound. Start using strategic silence before meaningful sounds and watch auditory experiences intensify through neurological contrast enhancement. Closing. These 10 protocols aren't about escaping sound. They're about strategically leveraging silence's unique neurological effects. You're not just reducing noise, you're triggering neurogenesis, resetting default mode processing, liberating cognitive resources, suppressing stress hormones, restoring attention capacity, amplifying interoceptive awareness, enabling creative insight, recalibrating acoustic sensitivity, synchronizing social neural activity, and enhancing auditory contrast. The neurogenesis activation window grows new brain cells. Default mode reset protocol optimizes memory consolidation. Auditory cortex liberation frees cognitive resources. Stress hormone suppression method lowers cortisol baselines. Attention restoration theory rebuilds focus capacity. Interoceptive awareness amplification reconnects you with body signals. Creative incubation chamber enables breakthrough insights. Acoustic tolerance recalibration restores auditory sensitivity. Social silence integration deepens relationships. Silence contrast amplification makes sounds matter. Ancient contemplatives who embraced silence weren't escaping the world. They were accessing biological processes that noise suppresses. Desert fathers, forest monks, hermits, and mystics accidentally discovered what neuroscience now confirms. Silence isn't empty. It's a powerful stimulus that activates growth, repair, and optimization processes. Modern life drowns you in constant acoustic input. Your brain never experiences the silence, it evolved with the silence. That triggers its deepest maintenance and enhancement protocols. Your transformation doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts the moment you schedule your first 2-hour silence window. It starts tonight when you create silent space before sleep. It starts when you claim your mornings before introducing sound. The version of you with enhanced memory, restored attention, creative fluency, and profound calm that person emerges when you give your brain the silence it's biologically designed to need. Your future self is waiting in the silence you've been avoiding.